Welcome along, everyone, to Sports Pizza. Glad to have you join us, and what a pleasure it is to come back your way after a great weekend of sporting endeavour. Not least, of course, with big scorelines across European football. We'll touch base with all the top 4-5 leagues across European football. Of course, Italy, La Liga, and of course, what's happening in England and Germany. Getting very interesting, I must say, with Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund neck to neck. What about what's happening in Formula One? We'll bring you that story because the season is up and running with great drivers, and of course, a great start for the Red Bull team. What about what's happening in the UFC? Because there was a vacant position as far as some title, and we have a new winner for all of that. So lots to look forward to on the show today. And of course, I'm going to take a break. Now, when we come back, we'll touch base with who's in the house to analyze all the big talking points. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sports Pizza. Glad to have you join us as we continue to dissect the pizza, all the different sectors, and it's always a pleasure to have you join us. Be a part of the show, of course, on social media. Simply tweet at Sports Pizza, of course, on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram as well. My name is Yubi, and so doing of it. I'm joined by Falana Adini. Falana, it's good to have you join us after an incredible weekend. I'm sure you must have had 4 screens observing every single thing from England to Germany, big games in Italy as well as the Formula One. But we're going to start off innovatively with what's happening closer to home with the under-20 Flying Eagles out there in Egypt. So we've got a game. Played a game to qualify to the World Cup. So they're, of course, in the semi-finals of the tournament. And you think about all the incredible stuff that we've done, so far at the under-20 level. But it's about taking that next step, isn't it? So first step to the World Cup. Now it's about winning the next game.
Yeah, definitely it's about winning the next game. But at the last game they played against Uganda, the Ugandans paid so much respect to the Flying Eagles. And that was why they considered very, very early. When they grew into the game, I think it dawned on them that, hey, the Flying Eagles are not better than us. And if you have been sincere, for those that saw the game, you see that the Flying Eagles didn't really play very well in that game. So, they qualified for the World Cup. Yeah. But talking about winning the under-20, I don't think they can win.
So there's still Senegal in the tournament, right? There's still Senegal, there's still Tunisia, there's Gambia as well, who were facing off with. But look, it's second to a team like Senegal, for example, a good result, given that Senegal are on a different level. You have to be fair enough to admit sometimes when you see that the team is better than you. But in football, anything can happen, that's for sure. But the objective was always to go to the World Cup, and that we've done.
Yeah, the objective is always going to the World Cup, just like you said. But then again, you want to see your team play good football. And that is what we've not been playing at this tournament. And I don't know what Ladan Boso has been doing with the boys. It hasn't really been working well. Yeah, they're getting the job done, which is the most important thing. But
right.
I don't know if they will be able to beat the Gambians, because the last game the Gambia played against South Sudan, I think it ended 5-0 or 6-0 driver. And so for the Flying Eagles to be playing against a team like that, then they have to be careful.
Right.
They have to be careful.
Well, of course, careful is what we will do. Let's switch up the pace now and get away from under-20 footballing matters. But the story to take away from that is that later this year in Indonesia, the Flying Eagles will be out there competing with some of the best countries: Spain, Germany, England, Portugal, and whatnot at the under-20 World Cup 2023. Let's get away from that now. Let's touch base with some interesting activity from the Premier League. Let's start off with that 7-0 scoreline. Manchester United losing 7-0. If you're just watching, you're not watching a wrong transmission. It was 7-0. And Liverpool, look, tell me about that, because look, we spoke about this game and we talk about games like this, and you say form goes out of the window. But 7-0 clearly wasn't on the agenda, was it?
Definitely, 7-0 wasn't on the agenda, because United, they are playing good football right now. I think after the World Cup, they've been playing brilliant football. Rashford has been scoring for fun, and every other player has been pulling their weight. As a matter of fact, I don't think United have considered a goal from open play when there's Casemiro, Lisandro Martinez, and Rafael Varane on the pitch. But consider 7 against Liverpool, that's a lot. I think they're allowing complacency to set into their game. Yeah, they are in a good run of form, so maybe they feel any team that comes, we should be able to beat them.
Right.
And so, but they've forgotten that Liverpool, they are on the rise. Most of their players are coming back from injury, and that has really, really helped them. I mean, we saw the defense, Konate and Virgil van Dijk. I mean, that was a very formidable defense. And Salah rolled back the years for us, telling us that, I might not be in form right now, but I still have time. I can still create magic, And it's all good for Liverpool right now. They are making a late push for the top four. I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised if they eventually make the top four at the end of the day, because just like I said, all their players are coming back and they're playing good football. It's just the sad one that United had to suffer. You know, that's 7-0. That's a bit too much for a team of Manchester United caliber.
Liverpool now currently 3 points off the top four with a game on Tottenham Hotspur. So clearly, Jurgen Klopp is not going to give up without a fight, is he? And even United, Liverpool actually, United is just 7 points better than Liverpool. So there's still a race to be run there as far as the top four race goes. But early predictions: is this the kind of result that gives Liverpool the momentum to go into the rest of the season? Their form is as good as anybody's form. You know, 4 wins in the last 5 games. It's as good as Arsenal's form. It's as good as Man City's last 5 games. So are they back now, Liverpool?
4 wins in the last 5 games. They've scored 19 goals in the last 5 games. That's
a bit of stat padding.
But maybe then again, you look at Liverpool and see that their players are coming back. And in football, you need that bit of confidence, that bit of momentum going for you. And it plays at the back of your mind that, we are getting back to the Liverpool we used to be before. So when you go into the next game, opponents will not play you like a team that is no longer informed. They will play you like a team that they are on the rise. So they will be scared of playing you. I mean,
and that gives you the advantage to go pick them out.
Before you get into the game, you've won the game like 50 to 60%. So opponents now decide to sit back and not want to come out against you. But we know Liverpool mid-season, at the beginning of the season, opponents likes going against Liverpool. So I think now the fear factor is back for Liverpool. I mean, how can you beat Manchester United 7-0?
I tell you what.
That strikes fear into opponent's mind.
Well, of course, Liverpool getting a resounding victory, their biggest victory ever over Manchester United. What it means is that they got all the front three of Liverpool pretty much who started that game for Darwin Núñez, what's the player's name now? Cody Gakpo and Mo Salah all getting 2 goals. And Firmino, who, even though he said he was not signing a new contract at the end of the season, also managed to get a goal as well. So what a great day. United's greatest ever defeat in 92 years. So a bit of a history to be made there. What about Arsenal, who continue to remind everyone they're not going to give this title up easily? Scored with the last kick of the game against Bournemouth. But the story there is that they came from 2 goals down to win that game. If there's anyone who's still doubting Arsenal now, you have to be the worst pessimist, because what do they need to do to convince everybody that they're here for the long run? 26 games played, 63 points. Look, City, that's a mental blow to City, right? Because not just the boost to Arsenal, but I'm sure City were at home watching the game, because City played earlier in the day. I'm sure they're watching the game and thinking, we've got them now, 2 points, so we've cut the gap. Then Arsenal go and score with Reece Nelson's last minute chance. That just tells you that you're going to potentially be champions, isn't it? Definitely.
And talking about that, when you look at the game as a City player sitting at home and watching the game, probably say, they're dropping points, then they find a way to win at the last minute. And the last kick of the game, just like you said. And then as a City player, you just wonder, what else do we need to do? I mean, we can't do the job by ourselves, but someone needs to do it for us. The people who think they're doing the job for us, they find a way to bottle the point. So, and you know that this will further strengthen Arsenal's resolve. We can actually have a go. I mean, if you want to win the league, these are the type of games that you win. These are the type of games you play. When everybody thinks that you're down and out, you find a way to win. That boosts the morale of the team.
Is this an equivalent to Vesta Company's goal a couple of years ago? Or is there an equivalent, that kind of thing? It's the kind of, I always say to people, anyone who cares to listen, that if you're going to win a title, there are writings on the wall. This was one of those writings on the wall.
Some of the goals will come from the most unlikely players.
Sources,
I mean, who would have thought Reece Nelson coming into the game, get an assist and score the winning goal? I mean, it's
incredible stuff.
Incredible stuff. So everything is pointing towards the direction that Arsenal, if they don't bottle it at the end of the day, they should win this league.
2/3 of the season played already, 12 more games to go. And if Arsenal continue on the momentum, for sure, we would have a new sheriff in town with their first title, potentially, since the year 2004. Good days here for the Arsenal. Right then, let's get away from the Arsenal, get away from English football entirely. Let's get on to Germany, because we haven't always given Germany its fair share of attention. But level on points, both teams now, Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. You've got to say that after 23 games, it's still a long way to go for Dortmund, because Bayern Munich have the quality, they've got the know-how to do it. But it's good to see that neck-to-neck competition. Even if it's for a brief bit. But Bayern Munich won 3-0, Borussia Dortmund won 2-1. Good times back.
Yeah, maybe less than. I think they have 13 games remaining in the Bundesliga. The Bayern, you can't trust them to go on a run, this season in the Bundesliga. They might win today, drop points next week. Borussia Dortmund, they are in form right now. I think alongside Schalke, they are the only unbeaten team since the league resumed after the World Cup. So you don't want to bet against Dortmund winning this one. I think they have players playing for them right now. Karim Adeyemi, Sebastian Aller, and Julian Brandt, a couple of other players. Their captain, inspirational captain, Marco Rose is back from injury.
Yeah.
They are playing good football right now. They are beating everything. And that is what you get when you're winning. You strike fear into the opponent's man. So before you even get onto the pitch, the opponent is already scared that it's about not conceding much today instead of trying to win games. So it's good, just like I said, I was saying, a battle, in the Bundesliga. Enough of Bayern just streamrolling their way to the Bundesliga title. So I won't be surprised if Borussia Dortmund, if they win the league. At least let's have a bit of pressure in all the leagues. Well, especially except the Spanish La Liga, Barcelona, divisions as well. So in Italy, Napoli. In Germany, Dortmund. In England, Arsenal.
I get the feeling that every year there's someone who runs away with their title in their country. Then there's someone who gives us a bit of parity. But of course, Borussia Dortmund with a 2-0 half-a win over RB Leipzig. It was a game that could have been either way for both teams. But let's get away from Germany. And the story to take away from Germany is that Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund are currently tied on points at the top of the Bundesliga table after 23 games. Right then, which takes us to Spain. Right, Nee, talk to me about Barcelona because they didn't have the biggest game this week, but it was a tough game against Valencia. Got a red card to Araujo, who's been a rock at the back for Barcelona this season, but still got a win. And they're doing it slowly. And after the Europa League defeat to United, they lost to Almeria, so it was important to come back and get something of some sort of winning back on the way. Tell me about their form now. 9 points clear of Real Madrid. It feels like every passing week they're pulling just ever so away from Real Madrid.
Sure, and that's the funny thing about the Spanish League. Any weekend Real Madrid drops points, or Barcelona drops points, Real Madrid will also drop points. But this time around, Real Madrid didn't follow up Barcelona's win, earlier in the day for that to happen. And it's I'm still keeping my predictions. Barcelona are going to win the league at the end of the day. Now that they don't have the Europa League to compete for, of course, they are not in the Champions League, but they are going to. I think the Copa del Rey is something that they should also win. Also, they won the first leg away from home against Real Madrid, and it's talking about the semi-finals. So would they be able to win the return leg that is left to them? But at least there's something that is guaranteed for Barcelona is that they are going to win the Spanish La Liga at the end of the season. So maybe going into the transfer window, they need to sign some players just to see if they can compete in the UEFA Champions League. But I think it's that the title is theirs to lose.
62 points is what they've got currently at top of the table in Spain. Pretty much almost identical to what Arsenal have, because Arsenal got 63 points in England. So just tells you about how high both teams are flying. Real Madrid currently 9 points off the pace. Then let's go Madrid. 6-1 victory over Sevilla, and strange result. We don't see Atletico score too many goals, but it was their first win. They drew their last game against Real Madrid. Third win in the last 5 games, and they're beginning to string some important results together. Memphis Depay, breath of fresh air almost. He came, I think it was his debut, so to speak. It's his first game since signing for them in January. But what a performance from Alvaro Morata as well as Antoine Griezmann. Just 2 cents on that before we get away from that. Are they, pushing for potentially second place? Yes, they're a couple of points away from Real Madrid. 7 points at the moment. But could Real Madrid be in danger of, relinquishing second place?
If Real Madrid, if they're not careful, if their form doesn't improve, I think Atletico Madrid, they'll find a way to get into the second position. We thought Real Sociedad are going to do that, but Real Sociedad, they are not playing very well right now. So Atletico Madrid, if Real Madrid are not careful, Atletico Madrid will take the second spot from there.
Well, of course, time to take a break now. Barcelona in Spain continue to hold the fourth, 9 points clear of Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid in third, and Real Sociedad in fourth place for Champions League spots. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll touch base with some Champions League football happening this week. Welcome back to Sports Pizza. I tell you what, the pizza is a long way gone, and we're deeply into all the sporting activity here. And of course, we are delighted to have you join us for every single episode of the show. Adeni Fowler is still here, as well as yours truly, UB, and so doing of it. Let's touch base with Champions League football returning this week. The key fixture there is Bayern Munich versus PSG. Clearly, that's the game that stands out from the calendar. First leg 1-0 in favor of Bayern Munich. They're back in Germany now, so what happens there? Bayern Munich have got their eyes in two places. Dortmund are chasing them neck to neck in Germany, and the Champions League has to be their priority this season. So what gives them Mbappe? Clearly, he's the X factor. Mbappe scored his 221st goal for PSG. He's now the outright all-time top scorer for the French side. Who wins? Because that's the question. Who wins? There's no home and away goal rule, so you've got to win outrightly to go ahead into the quarterfinals. Do Bayern Munich take the first step this week?
I mean, it's sad that I'm saying this, but they don't have a Neymar, playing. I think that's an advantage to Paris Saint-Germain that Neymar is not going to be playing. I think there's this understanding between Messi and Kylian Mbappe right now. And if they want to have a chance of qualifying to the quarterfinal, they need both players to click, when they face off. And when you have players supporting like Fabian Ruiz and the likes, in midfield, you want to
get a bit more industry.
Yeah, and there's a bit of stability in the midfield for Paris Saint-Germain, and they don't rush their passes. But you are playing against Bayern. It's going to be totally different from the teams you face in the French league. And so Bayern also, they won the first leg 1-0, and they have all their players fit. Kingsley Coman, Leroy Sané, Saad Gnabry, and Eric Choupo-Moting is enjoying this football, for Bayern right now. And so Bayern also get this feeling that we can finish the job.
Yeah.
In Germany. I mean, we've been beating these guys like there's no tomorrow. So why can't we do it, this time around? But just like you said, no away goal. So that can also play at the back of the mind of Paris Saint-Germain player that we can also go there and win convincingly. So it's going to be an entertaining game, an open game. Both teams don't defend. That's the following.
Yeah. So goals, that's for sure.
It's how well you can take up your chances.
Well, Kylian Mbappe would have a thing or two to say about that particular game. So a prediction there for you. Who do you think qualifies?
It's difficult for me to pick here, but I expect goals in the game. I just want to enjoy.
Right.
For neutrals, just enjoy the game.
I do well tell the producer not to let you in because you're paid to do the predictions. You're paid to give the expert analysis. Right then, what about Chelsea and Borussia Dortmund? Same case we made for Bayern Munich. Dortmund are doing well in Germany, so there's a bit of confidence there. Chelsea finally winning a game. We didn't mention that in our Premier League roundup, but finally won a game against Leeds. Gives them a springboard, so to speak. But Dortmund at the moment flying a bit higher than Chelsea. 1-0 was the first leg. The back at the bridge. Do you think Chelsea have the advantage, or does Dortmund just need to?
I think right now the advantage is with Borussia Dortmund. They are playing right now. They are informed. No doubt about that. And Chelsea are really struggling. Even the game they won against Leeds United, they struggled. In that particular. They almost drew that game. But Kepa, said no to the other goalkeeper. Talking about Mela. It's going to be a difficult one for Chelsea. They are not playing good football right now. No doubt about that. So I won't be surprised if Dortmund wins this one at the end of the day.
Give me a prediction. Can Chelsea get a result there?
No. I think Dortmund should go through.
So Dortmund qualifies. So two German teams qualify into the next round. That's your call there. Of course, other fixtures sees Benfica, Club Brugge, as well as AC Milan away at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and of course Tottenham still also hanging by a threat to the Champions League activities or hopes for a trophy this season as well. AC Milan lead the first leg by 1-0. Let's wrap up the conversation here on Sports Pizza with a story from away from football, actually, in the UFC before we touch base with Formula One. Matter of fact, let's start with Formula One there. Max Verstappen, the Grand Prix resumed, the Formula One rather, resumed this weekend in Bahrain. Always great to see the great racing tracks, always great to see the fast cars. But Max Verstappen, boy, first in pole position. Nobody came close to him. Red Bull were flying high in the test series, also in the warm-ups. But it looks as if, though, he's on course for another world title. He's won the last two.
Yeah, and well, I think this is the era of Red Bull and this is the era of Max Verstappen. You know, we saw Lewis Hamilton. I mean, we saw Michael Schumacher back then. Now we saw Lewis Hamilton dominating for 5-6 years. Now I think it's the turn of Red Bull. You know, there's no permanent champion. They will tell you on the street of Lagos.
They say change is permanent.
Yeah, change is the only constant thing. Yeah, and so I think Max Verstappen, the first one, he had to wrestle with Lewis Hamilton. So the second one was a bit easy for him. So it's looking like this one is also going to be a bit easy for him. And Red Bull, they are the number one team. The number two on the podium also Red Bull, talking about Sergio Perez, and then we have Alonso, in the top position.
Sort of like Mercedes a couple of years ago, they always won number 1 and 2.
Yeah, number 1 and 2. But I mean, Lewis Hamilton had to make do with the 5th position. Will he get onto the podium the next race? That's left to be seen. But I think Max Verstappen is definitely going to win this year again. I don't like to say the because I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan. But it is what it is, for someone that is playing, that is driving really well right now. And I don't know what is happening with Mercedes. I don't know what is wrong with them. But Lewis Hamilton, they're not doing anything right. Like Red Bull, doing the right. I mean, they're doing the right thing right now.
Well, of course, Red Bull continuing to dominate after what was a World Championship last year. The next race, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So keep an eye on that. We would keep an eye on that, and if you did not keep an eye, would bring you the story there. Let's just wrap up with the UFC. Quick one. Look, Francis Ngannou, the Cameroonian, vacated the UFC, went into something else. We hear he's potentially going to fight Deontay Wilder. But we have a new champion in town, John Jones, won against Cyril Kane. New sheriff in town. What do you make of that?
Well, John Jones having to move away from the lighterweight to the heavyweight.
So he holds 2 titles now.
Yeah, and we thought Kane is. I mean, you're in the heavyweight already. Someone is moving from lighterweight to the heavyweight, and the way the match went, we thought we were going to have a long battle on our hand, but I mean, he tapped out after just 2 minutes. So we have John Jones, who, by the way, is going to be getting $6.1 million for the victory. And the person in the heavyweight category is going to be getting 1.2 million. I don't know how they share the money.
I tell you what, we have to when we go outside, we need to throw hands a little bit. Maybe there's some money to be won. But totally enjoyed the chat with you here, Falan Adini. Welcome back to Sports Pizza, and of course it's time to say goodbye pretty much. So don't be sad, we're back next week. So enjoy the Champions League football across this week, and let us know your thoughts as well on social media. So if you're watching the game, take a pause, tweet at us at Sports Pizza. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and of course send us an email as well on the email on your screen. That would be great to read from you and a very dear viewers. Falan Adini, always a pleasure. Definitely. I'll see you next week. For now, have a great time. From all of us in the studio, we'll see you very soon. Bye bye.